My name is Elena, I'm 32, and the last words my mother ever gave me as her daughter were spat like venom. We wish you were never born. The living room was full of cousins, uncles, neighbors, all their faces suspended in a frozen silence, the music still looping in the background, like it didn't get the message that the night had turned cruel. My mother's wine glass trembled just enough for a drop to land on the carpet. My brother smirked into his drink as if he'd been waiting years for this moment. I felt my chest crack open. But no tears came. Instead, I looked at her, at the woman who once braided my hair before school, and I said clearly, "If that is what you wish, then consider me as if I never existed." And then I left. I didn't slam the door. I didn't let them hear rage. The silence of my footsteps on the tile was louder than any scream. Outside, the winter air cut through me sharp and clean. The porch light flickered like it couldn't decide whether to burn out completely. I walked into the night, shoulders squared, as if I were leaving not just a house but a history. 30 minutes later they would panic. But in that moment I was calm. Almost serene. Tell me, have you ever had family cross your boundaries so deeply you stopped recognizing them? Let me know in the comments. And as I reached my car, one thought carved itself into me like scripture. Absence can be the heaviest revenge. I sat in my car without turning the key, watching my breath fog the windshield. Inside, I could still hear muffled laughter and clinking glasses, as if my erasure was nothing more than a passing toast. My hands gripped the steering wheel until the leather squeaked. On the passenger seat was the photo. The only one I'd kept framed, me at 8 years old, arms looped around my dad's neck, my mother smiling stiffly in the background. I'd brought it tonight as part of a gift. I thought maybe, just maybe, it would remind them of something softer. Instead, it became a reminder for me they had long since forgotten. The house behind me flickered with colored lights strung sloppily across the porch. But I knew those bulbs would burn differently in 30 minutes. Panic has a way of staining even the brightest rooms. I slipped the photo from its frame, leaving the cheap glass behind. The paper bent slightly under my fingers, the edges worn from years of moving box to drawer to bag. Funny, they told me I was fragile. But glass can cut. As I started the car, headlights caught the outline of my cousin Michelle peeking through the curtains. She looked unsettled, like she wasn't sure if siding with silence had been the right choice. I drove off, the frame rattling in the back seat, the photo safe in my coat pocket. My absence had just begun speaking. Inside, they had no idea what was already unraveling. The road stretched empty, slick with frost, streetlights painting pale halos across the asphalt. My phone buzzed twice in the cup holder, my brother's name flashing. I didn't answer. Then my mother's, then unknown numbers from relatives I hadn't spoken to in months. Each call went unanswered, the silence filling me like a second heartbeat. At the third red light, I finally glanced at one of the messages. "Where did you go? Come back." It's not what she meant. I almost laughed. They had all sat there sipping wine, watching me fold into dust. Not one person stood up. Now, 30 minutes later, panic seeped into their words. Not because of me, but because of what my leaving did to them. I pulled into a gas station, the hum of the fluorescent lights above rattling in the cold. I took out the photo again. The corners were bent deeper now, softened by my grip. This picture was no longer about memory. It was proof. Proof that I had been part of their story, no matter how much they wanted to erase me. A knock on my window startled me. She must have followed in her car. Her breath clouded the glass as she mouthed, "Please." I rolled it down an inch. Her perfume seeped in, the same one my mother used to wear, faint and cloying. "You still wear that perfume?" I asked, voice sharp. Her lips parted, caught off guard. She had no answer. Only eyes full of guilt. And in that pause, I knew the unraveling had just spread beyond me. Michelle shifted nervously, her arms wrapped tight against the cold. The gas station light made her skin look pale, tired. "Elena, please. You don't understand. After you left, she broke off, pressing her lips together as if the words themselves burned. I leaned back in the driver's seat, window still cracked just enough to let in the bite of night air. After I left, what? Did she realize the daughter she wished away actually had legs to walk? Michelle flinched. I almost pitied her. Almost. She's panicking, Michelle whispered. Saying things like, Where is she? Why isn't she answering? What if she never comes back? Her eyes darted toward the photo in my lap. She kept staring at the spot where you'd been standing. I traced the bent corner of the picture with my thumb. The silence between us grew heavy, thick with unspoken years. Finally, I opened the window wider. Funny, isn't it? You all had a chance to say something when it mattered. Not after the fact. Not after the words carved themselves in. Michelle's shoulders sagged. I know. I was wrong. We all were. She hesitated, then added, "She's not as strong as she looks, Elena." Tonight broke something in her. I looked at her fully then, the way her hands trembled, the way her eyes begged for me to be the one to fix what wasn't mine to fix. "I'm not her glue," I said quietly. "I'm her ghost now. And ghosts don't come back when called." Michelle's breath hitched. The realization landed. I shifted the car into drive, headlights cutting through her shadow as I pulled away. Behind me she stood frozen, her figure shrinking in the rearview mirror. Another witness to the silence I'd left behind. He said. The highway opened in front of me, black ribbon under a silver moon. My phone buzzed again, this time a voicemail. I didn't want to hear her voice, but my thumb betrayed me. "Elena." My mother's tone was shaky, stripped of its sharpness. I didn't mean it. I was drunk, I was angry. You know how I get. "Please. Come back before everyone leaves. It's not the same without you." I gripped the wheel harder. There it was. Not regret for the wound, but fear of what my absence exposed. I pulled off at a rest stop and parked beneath a dead lamp post. The photo lay across the passenger seat now, catching the dim light. I studied the little girl's smile, my dad's arms around her shoulders. Did he ever think his silence tonight would speak louder than her words? The voicemail played again, unbidden. I let it run, let her voice fill the car. Then slowly I hit save. Not delete. Not reply. Evidence that words can't be unsaid, no matter how desperately you try to call them back. Another message buzzed in. "My uncle. She's crying, Elena. She's begging us to find you. I've never seen her like this." For a moment my chest tightened. Crying. The woman who had stood like iron for decades. But then I remembered how easily iron rusts when left out in the open. I leaned my head against the cold glass of the window, whispering to myself, "Let her rust." And as the night deepened, I realized something. Absence wasn't silence anymore. It was a mirror. And every single one of them was finally forced to look. By the time dawn stretched pale across the horizon, I was still parked at that rest stop, my coat draped over me like a shield. My phone sat silent now, the storm of calls slowing to a drizzle of unread texts. I didn't open them. Instead, I pulled out the photo again. The edges had curled from the night's damp air. I studied it the way you study evidence, searching for what had always been there but ignored. My mother's stiff smile, my father's proud arm, my own small grin, naive and bright. 3 lives caught in a frame, pretending to belong together. A semi-truck roared past on the highway, shaking the car. It jolted something loose inside me. I whispered into the empty car. She wished me gone. So let me show her what gone really means. At 7:13 a.m. another voicemail arrived. I didn't touch it. But then curiosity gnawed. I pressed play. "Elena, it's Dad. Listen, I know I should have stopped her. I didn't. That's on me. But your mom, she's not breathing right. They called an ambulance. Just come back, please." The words thudded in my chest like stones. For a split second, I pictured her gasping in the middle of that crowded house, panic clawing at every guest who'd said nothing hours earlier. I didn't start the car. I didn't move. Instead, I folded the photo once, then twice until the faces disappeared into creases. It no longer looked like memory. It looked like evidence sealed away. In the mirror, my own eyes stared back, tired, red, but alive. And I thought, maybe this is what it means to finally be unseen, yet unforgettable. The folded photo pressed against my palm as if it had a pulse. I tucked it into my wallet and stepped out of the car, the morning air raw against my face. The parking lot was nearly empty. Just a stray newspaper blowing across the asphalt. I picked it up, the ink smudged, the headline about markets crashing. Strange, the world was still spinning while mine felt paused. My phone lit again, this time with a video call request. I almost ignored it, but the name Michelle glowed on the screen. Against my better judgment, I answered. The camera shook as she held it, voices loud in the background, sirens wailing faintly. Her face was blotchy, eyes swollen. Elena, please, she begged. She's on oxygen now. Everyone's blaming themselves. Uncle Mark keeps saying, if we had stopped her, Elena wouldn't have left. It's chaos. I said nothing. I just listened to the noise behind her. The chaos they had created, not me. Michelle's lip trembled. Do you hear them? They can't stop talking about you. About how they pushed you away. Even Dad, he keeps repeating, I should have stopped her. They're breaking without you. My eyes fell on the cracked pavement beneath my shoes. The silence stretched, heavy. Then I spoke softly, almost tenderly. That's what happens when you kill someone with words. You don't bury the body, you bury yourself. Michelle sobbed, trying to form another plea, but I ended the call. The screen went black, reflecting only me. And for the first time I didn't feel erased. I felt undeniable. He said. I drove back into the city as the morning traffic thickened, every car around me rushing toward lives that still wanted them. Mine felt strangely light, as if I'd been carrying bricks for years and had finally set them down. When I pulled into my apartment lot, the phone buzzed again. A new voicemail, this one from my mother herself, her voice raw, scraped thin. Elena, I don't know if you'll ever forgive me. I was cruel. I thought those words would make me feel powerful, but they only made me small. I can't take them back, but I see now what I've done. Please, don't erase us the way I tried to erase you. If you can't come back, at least know I am sorry. I sat there motionless. The irony of it all. She had wished me gone, and my absence had shown her exactly what that felt like. The party that once mocked me was now fractured, weighed down by their own silence. I didn't call her. Not yet. But I took the photo from my wallet, unfolded it carefully, and placed it on the kitchen table. The creases cut through our faces like fault lines. I left it there, not hidden, not displayed, just present. That was the revenge. Not yelling, not storming back, but existing on my own terms. I had become the absence that haunted them, the mirror they couldn't turn away from. And in that quiet I finally felt seen.